My name is Nathan Blake. I'm 37 years old, a paramedic living in Charlotte, North Carolina. For most of my adult life, I've been the dependable one. The guy who shows up on time, who keeps his promises, who's there in a crisis, both professionally and personally. I thought those traits were what made me a good man, a good boyfriend, a good partner. Apparently, none of that mattered to Natalie. We'd been together for almost 4 years. She was a high school English teacher, charming, witty, passionate about literature. The kind of woman who quoted poetry in everyday conversation and left handwritten notes in my lunchbox with lines from Shakespeare or Neruda. She had a warmth about her that people were naturally drawn to, especially me. I fell for her hard and fast. And for a while, things were perfect until they weren't. I don't believe betrayal happens all at once. It's a slow poison. You only realize you're sick once it's too late. It started small. Natalie became more guarded with her phone. She changed her lock screen password, something we used to openly share. She started coming home later, always with vague explanations about grading papers at a coffee shop or staying late to help a struggling student. At first, I ignored it. I mean, who wants to admit they're being lied to by the person they love? But there were signs I couldn't ignore. She stopped making eye contact during conversations. Her texts became shorter, colder. When I'd reach for her at night, she'd flinch or roll over. And the biggest red flag? Her best friend Emily started acting weird around me. One Saturday morning, I ran into Emily at a local bakery while picking up breakfast for Natalie. I greeted her with a smile and a hug, but she looked guilty, nervous. "Hey, Emily," I said, "haven't seen you in a while. You guys still doing your weekly wine nights?" She fumbled with her wallet. Yeah, sometimes. You know, when we're both free." We both knew she was lying. Emily couldn't lie to save her life. That was when the seed of doubt really sprouted roots. Digital footprints don't lie. I didn't want to snoop. I hated the idea of invading someone's privacy. But my instinct screamed at me something wasn't right. So I started looking, not at her phone. No, Natalie was too careful for that. But I remembered that she'd synced her iCloud account to our shared iPad a year ago and had probably forgotten about it. That's where I found the truth. Dozens of messages, photos, voicemails. She was cheating on me, not just with anyone, but with one of her co-workers, another teacher at her school, a guy named James, a newly divorced history teacher with a gym membership and an ego the size of Texas. The messages weren't just flirty. They were disgusting, descriptive, bold. There were conversations where they mocked me, called me boring, said I was too safe, and not exciting enough. There were photos of them in our house, on our couch, in our bed. That was the moment something in me snapped. You see, everyone thought Natalie was this wholesome, literary sweetheart. Her friends adored her. Her students worshipped her. Her parents? They thought she walked on water. But I saw the real her, the one hiding behind the curtain. For days, I sat with the knowledge, unsure of what to do. I considered confronting her privately. But then I remembered how she humiliated me behind my back, how she made me look like a fool to her lover, to her closest friends, even to herself. She thought her secret was safe. It wasn't. I didn't go nuclear immediately. No, I planned everything out. I compiled the evidence. Screenshots of texts, photos, emails, and a few voice recordings from the iPad synced voicemails. Then, I created a shared Google Drive folder titled, "What Natalie's Been Hiding," and set the privacy to anyone with the link in view. I wrote a single email. Just one. It read, "Subject, for everyone who thinks they know Natalie Blake. Body, hey all, this isn't easy to send, but the truth rarely is. I wanted you to see the side of Natalie that I've come to know. Everything you'll find in the folder below is real. I've double-checked the dates, the facts, the timestamps. Make your own judgment." Link to the folder, Nathan, and I sent it to her parents, to her siblings, to her close friends, to Emily, to their school's administration, and to the school board. It exploded. Her mom called me in tears, apologizing for her daughter's behavior. Her dad sent a one-line text. I'm so sorry, son. You didn't deserve this. Emily called, sobbing, saying she didn't know how to tell me. The school placed James on administrative leave, pending an investigation. Apparently, he had a history of inappropriate relationships, and my folder added fuel to a long, smoldering fire. Natalie? She stormed into our apartment that night, screaming, crying, begging. You ruined my life, she shrieked. No, I said. You did that all by yourself. She packed her things and left. The weeks that followed were surreal. Some people called me petty. Others called me brave. A few mutual friends tried to stay neutral. Most didn't. But you know what? I didn't care. I slept better than I had in months. Because the truth matters. And if you're going to betray someone who gave you everything, you don't get to do it in the shadows. You lose the right to secrecy when your actions tear someone else's world apart. Some people heal by moving on quietly. Others write letters they never send. Me, I expose the truth. Because sometimes the only way to move forward is to let the whole damn world see what you were up against. Natalie thought her secret was safe. But the truth always finds the light. It's been over a year now. I moved out of that apartment. Started fresh in a smaller place across town. Got a dog, a German shepherd named Ace, who, unlike people, has never lied to me. I've reconnected with friends I drifted from and even taken up hiking again, something I used to love before I lost myself in someone else's chaos. Natalie tried reaching out once. Just a short message. I'm sorry. I was messed up. I hope you're okay. I didn't reply, because forgiveness doesn't always require conversation. Sometimes it's just a decision to stop carrying their weight. And as for the people who said I went too far by leaking the truth, let them judge. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it for peace. For the next version of myself, the one who refuses to be a doormat for someone else's lies. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a broken man. I see someone who stood up for himself. Someone who stopped hiding from reality. Someone who turned pain into power. And that's a story I'll never be ashamed to tell. Nathan Blake, survivor, not a victim.